Welcome to the Politics News Wolf US channel. The fate of the Eastern Front will soon be determined. Critical statements from British intelligence. The P-66 highway worries Moscow. Ukrainian forces increase the. After the Donbas attacks, Russian army lost a great power in the east. If Ukrainian army takes control of the two main roads, the biggest defense line of Russian army will fall in the regions of Beam, Adi, Ika, and Lyman. The intensity of the war increased more than ever before. Zelensky said that the operations would continue without slowing down, and Zelensky announced that Russia will carry out extensive missile and drone attacks. Shortly after the statements, the second defensive wave of the Ukrainian army began. Military facilities on Russian soil are being destroyed one by one. Russia suffered the greatest losses of recent times. Ukrainian army is on the move. After the successful operations of Ukraine, very critical statements came from British intelligence. According to the current report presented by British intelligence, Ukrainian army has the potential to break the supply line of Russian army on the Eastern Front. According to the report presented by British intelligence, if Ukrainian armed forces can take full control of the P-66 highway, it will further weaken Russia's Crimean defense. It has been reported that the clashes between Ukrainian army and Russian army for the control of the P-66 highway in Crimean, Luhansk region have continued for the last. British intelligence states that the P-66 highway is the main supply route from the Belgorod region of Russia to the north of Russian army's position in Donbass. In the published report, it was stated that if Ukrainian army took control of this region, Russia's supply line would be severely damaged. Thus, it was among the information received that the defense line of Russian army and Crimean node would also be damaged. In addition, 15 attacks by Russian army on Donbas and Luhansk regions were upheld by the Ukrainian forces. According to the statements made, Russian attacks on Stiv by Lag Rivka and Rika by Lag Rivka soldier Krasnara Beam Kishka Ryanka, Op-Eton, and Krasnagoriv regions in the Donetsk SCR were upheld by Ukrainian defense forces. Fighting continues on the southern front as operations continue at Russian positions in command centers in the Kherson, in the Tika Apology Bitomic regions in the Kherson region. Russian army lost more than 175 soldiers, 12 guns, various types of military equipment, and 1 ammunition depot. On the other hand, British intelligence noted that given the importance of the region for the logistical support of the troops in Donbas, Russia would prioritize protecting the front line near Crimea. Moscow will try every possible means to protect the region. However, as a result of the successful operations organized by Ukrainian army, Russian army still could not complete its preparations in the region. Ukrainian army has been conducting consecutive operations in the region for about 10 days. In this process, the shipments of Russian army largely. Moscow and the command of the Eastern Front warned Russian troops to deploy to the area. However, as a result of the attacks, problems arise between Wagner and Russian General Staff. As a result of the operations carried out by Ukrainian army with missile and artillery units, many Wagner members were neutralized. That is why Wagner mercenaries reacted very sharply to Russian chief of. In the process, the founder of Wagner Company protected his soldiers. Also, as I mentioned in previous videos, Kremlin did not make a statement about Wagner soldiers. The coordination between Russian army and Wagner Group was completely broken. The ammunition problem experienced by Russia was met with a very harsh reaction by Wagner soldiers. After this process, the increasing pressure of Ukrainian army will cause Russia to experience a great collapse on the Eastern Front. Russian army lost all coordination. In addition, a large number of Russian soldiers surrendered to the Ukrainian troops. In this case, it seems impossible for Russia to make progress on the Eastern Front. In addition, new systems continue to be sent to Ukrainian army. It is thought that the attacks of Ukrainian armed forces on the Eastern Front will continue. Russia will carry out attacks with missiles and drones to slow down this preparation process. President of Ukraine, Zelensky made detailed statements about these attacks, but at the moment, it is impossible for Russian army to carry out a massive missile strike. The attacks are expected to be carried out with unmanned aerial vehicles and a small number of missiles. However, air defense systems deployed on Ukraine and soil can intercept all Iranian-made drones. As you know, the Patriot air defense system is expected to be deployed to Ukraine short. Although Ukrainian army has deficiencies in its air defense system, it can stop most of the Russian attacks. After the deficiencies in air defense systems are eliminated, Russia will not be successful in any missile and unmanned aerial vehicle attacks. Russia will also lose its last trump card. After this process, Moscow's only solution will be to achieve success in ground operations. However, it is very difficult for inexperienced Russian soldiers to make progress on the front. We have been observing this clearly on the front for months. Zelensky in his video sharing on his social media account at night stated that Russian forces continue to attack Ukraine with missiles and unmanned aerial vehicles, noting that more than 80 UAVs launched by Russian forces were destroyed in the air in just the last 2 days. Zelensky said just 2 days after New Year's Eve and the number of Iranian drones shot down in Ukraine has already exceeded. This number may increase in the near future. Therefore, the nights can be quite hectic. In the coming weeks, we have information that Russia is planning a long-term drone attack. Zelensky urged the Ukrainian air defense forces to be even more careful, saying the time is now when everyone involved in protecting the airspace should be extra. Zelensky stated that he had a telephone conversation with Ursula von der Leyen, President of European Commission, and recorded a detailed conversation about the meeting scheduled for February. In his speech with Leyen, Zelensky stated that they also discussed the financial support that the EU will provide to Ukraine. According to the decision taken last year, we expect the first part of the macro-financial support in January. In this process, the sanctions imposed by Europe, NATO, and USA, continue to reduce Putin's aggression. On the other hand, with European Union sanctions against Russia, there was a great energy crisis between Russia and Europe. Gas prices in Europe today fell to their lowest level since the start of the Russia-Ukraine. In the Netherlands, which is an important indicator of average natural gas prices for Europe, 1-month natural gas prices decreased by 6.3% and traded at 71.5 euros per megawatt-hour. This figure corresponds to the lowest figure seen in natural gas since February 21 last year. As of today, the wholesale price of natural gas in Europe is 5 times cheaper than in. Gas prices in Europe reached their highest level in August at 342 euros per megawatt-hour. Russia wanted to threaten Western countries with energy. However, Western countries have made agreements with many countries for alternative energy sources. European Union and Western countries have made many agreements to end their natural gas dependence on Russia. However, the Russian army is in a great war, and the Russian economy has suffered a great collapse as a result of the sanctions imposed on Moscow. The sanctions imposed on Putin somewhat dampened Russia's aggression. In this process, Europe's finding alternative sources cut off Russia's biggest source of income. Tensions between West and East continue to rise. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel to update you with daily information.